Hello, friends. This is Jim with Science Talk. I have news on Otzi. He's the Iceman that was found in the Italian Alps. And basically, this is a health report on him. Okay, yeah, he's been dead, but this is basically an analysis of his condition, and based on certain findings, medical doctors have ascertained certain conditions that he probably suffered from. Basically, he was a heart attack waiting to happen. So let's say Otzi was around today, and he went to a medical doctor, a cardiologist, and basically the cardiologist would probably tell him, stop eating so much fatty meat, consider taking medication to lower your blood pressure and cholesterol, statins, right? But of course, Otzi did not have access to a cardiologist or statins or any of that other stuff. So how is this assessment made? Well, a full-bodied CT scan showed that, and basically looked at his cardiovascular system. Otzi had 3 calcifications, which are hardened plaques in his heart region. This, of course, puts him at increased risk for a heart attack. Otzi also had calcifications around his carotid artery. Now, the carotid arteries are what goes up, along your neck there, and basically brings blood to your head. Okay, as well as arteries at the base of the skull. It's a circular ring called the Circle of Willis, and basically, it's literally like an oval, a circular racetrack by which blood's flowing around here, and it branches off this Circle of Willis to feed various parts of the brain, but it has the added bonus, if you will, that if one section gets blocked, the blood can flow a different section. And now, of course, if it gets totally blocked, then you're in deep trouble. But if there's a slight constriction, the blood can still flow through the other aspects to get to blood vessels to bring blood to your brain. So the plaques found in the carotid and in the Circle of Willis increases risk for stroke. So now we're looking at increased risk for coronary or myocardial infarction events, as well as stroke events. And this was an assessment made by Dr. Seth Martin, who is a preventive cardiologist at Johns Hopkins Medicine in Baltimore. So, what Dr. Martin has been looking at as part of his research in preventive health for the heart is that we're focusing, basically he's saying, we're focusing on a plant-based vegetarian diet. Folks who follow a more plant-based or Mediterranean diet, that type of diet is best at preventing heart disease. So we're talking a lot of olive oil, dates, figs, olives, that sort of material to eat. If Otzi's conditions were bad enough, okay, doctors, and if he were around today, doctors might perform a carotid endarterectomy, a surgery that involves opening or cleaning the carotid artery to prevent stroke. He might have also undergone bypass surgery. Now, of course, he was found in 1991 in the Italian Alps. He is now kept at the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology in Bolzano, Italy. He is one of the most studied mummies in the world in anthropological circles. Researchers now know he had bad teeth and knees. He was lactose intolerant. He had probably a case of Lyme disease, stomach bacteria that caused ulcers, and he had 61 tattoos inked on his body. Now the new studies suggest that if he had not been killed by a blow to the head, yes, he suffered a violent death, and an arrow that pierced his shoulder when he was approximately 46 years of age, which was considerable age back then, he might have faced health problems from those plaques down, further down the road. An earlier study that was published in the journal Global Heart found that Otzi had a genetic predisposition for atherosclerosis, which is a narrowing of the arteries from fatty deposits. CT scans done at the time, so we're talking about new CT scans recently performed, I'm referencing now previous CT scans, showed signs of generalized atherosclerotic disease in some of his arteries, including the carotids, the distal aorta, and the right iliac artery, this earlier study found. Now, you have the ascending aorta that leaves the heart out of the ventricle. There's the aortic arch. From the aortic arch, we have the carotids, we have the brachiocephalic, also the innominate artery. The innominate quickly branches into a carotid and subclavian arteries. But basically, those branches off the aortic arch feed the upper torso and head region. The aortic arch then bends and goes down, becoming the descending aorta, and there are branches off the descending aorta, like the splenic, hepatic, and renal arteries, basically branches that feed various organs, upper and lower mesenteric arteries, and so on and so forth, that supply the intestine with oxygen, etc. The descending aorta terminates and splits. It splits into basically a right and left, external and internal iliac arteries. Now, the iliac artery is found in the region of your pelvis. When you hear the saying, you put your hands on your hips, you're basically placing your hands on what's called the iliac crest. In fact, in the human pelvis, the ilium, the pelvis is made of 3 bones: ilium, ischium, and pubis. In the humans, the ilium is the largest portion of it. It's that big, flattened, kind of like blade-like region. The ischium is basically what you sit on, and the pubis, of course, is in the groin area. So the iliac arteries are basically found in the location of where the ilium is of your pelvis bone. It continues down, and then it's the same blood vessel, but it changes name. It becomes the femoral artery because it's found alongside your femur. Lots of the times, the blood vessel is named for the region that it's found in. So, but that's just to give you an idea where the iliac artery is located. So, at the time that these prior CT scans were done, it was not known that Otzi had also calcifications in his heart, which indicates more advanced atherosclerosis, which of course increased risk of stroke and heart attack. Okay. This is a statement made by Dr. Albert Zink, who is the head of the Institute for Mummies and the Iceman at the European Academy. He, however, was not involved with the new study, but was involved with the prior study. Given that Otzi was not overweight, did not smoke tobacco, regularly exercised, he was climbing up and down mountains, and likely didn't have a high-fat diet, at least by today's standard, even though he ate high-fatty meat. But you have to be a little word of caution here. Okay? If you try to live on grains in a cold Arctic environment, you're not going to survive. You need fat because the fat provides energy for warmth, to deal with the severe cold. He's up in high mountain region. He's going to need a high fat content to stay warm. So basically, if that's the case, then why are we finding this case of atherosclerosis and plaques? Genetics. It was most likely in his genes, giving him a genetic predisposition to atherosclerosis, not his daily routine. Dr. Philip Green, who is an interventional cardiologist at New York Presbyterian, says, I suspect that lifestyle did not play a major role in his development of plaque. He also was not involved in this new study. So basically, going back to Dr. Zink, he states, I don't think a different diet such as vegetarian or vegan would have helped him. So this goes to show you how, try as we might, we really are at the mercy of what our genetic makeup is. I mean, how many times you hear people, who do, exercise right, eat right, and all this stuff, and they drop dead at an early age because they had a genetic heart condition. And other people have all the horrible habits, smoking, drinking, lousy diet, they live to be 87. It was something like that. So genes really play an important role in ultimately determining what happens to us. I mean, you can do all the right things and have genetic predisposition for cancer. So genetic predisposition is probably the most important trigger factor for arteriosclerosis, atherosclerosis, and coronary heart disease. This and that was basically a statement by Patricia Pernter, who was a radiologist at Bolzano. And the study is published in the German and Austrian journal Advances in the Field of X-rays. That's the English translation. I'm not going to even attempt to try to pronounce the German equivalent. So Otzi keeps bringing us surprises and new information. And this goes to show you how interesting genes can shape our lives. I did a video earlier where I discussed how some of our predispositions for like coronary disease and other stuff are a leftover of Neanderthal genes in our genetic makeup. So you can go check out that video. It's in the video library on my site there. So I just wanted to share that with you, and as new information about Otzi becomes available, I'll be sure to bring that new information to you as well. Thank you for your time. We'll talk soon. Hey folks, just a reminder to please subscribe and click the bell so you know when I drop a video. Please share my videos. Please tell others of my channel and of the work that I do. I also hope that you will consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Science Talk with Jim Massa, where from time to time I upload videos there exclusively for my patron subscribers. Details in the description box below.